the pillar of planning for the country. And I wanted to beg your indulgence that outside the committee of budget, each sectoral committee of this house Mr. Speaker, I was emphasizing the point that the NDP is a very important document for the country. Each and every corner of this country must see themselves into that plan for the next 5 years. Outside the committee of budget, I wanted to beg your indulgence that the sectoral committees are invited to look into this plan. I'll give one example of how important it is. On the 22nd of November, the President launched a very ambitious project, a very important project in my opinion, called the Standard Gauge Railway, which each and every Ugandan from Karamoja, from whatever region, is going to finance and contribute. But when you look at the plan of that railway line, other Ugandans are not involved. It is not passing through the entire country, but it is a project that may be done once. I don't know which other government will come and do it. So I want to invite your attention, Mr. Speaker, that within these 2 weeks, let the sectoral committees for each sector look at the components of the National Development Plan and make recommendations so that every part of this country is seen into this. I have previously argued here, you remember, Mr. Speaker, when the government came and said that some money was being allocated to a particular region under what they call the tourism roads. Then another section of roads were given as security roads. Then I was asking, what about the other parts of the country? Which roads will go to them? If we have started saying these ones are for tourists, these are for security, yet everybody is paying the loan to make those roads, oil roads for example. How about the coffee roads now? How about the cotton roads? How about the milk roads and the rest? So we can only interrogate that, Mr. Speaker, when we look at this National Development Plan at once.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Jonathan Odur. You see, if we are to take this plan to the sector committees, I think the time we shall need really. I'm thinking, since sector committee chairpersons are members of the budget committee, okay, they should be able to look at issues of each sector. They should be able to look at issues of each and every sector. Okay? But we have 2 weeks, because we have a deadline of approving the budget framework paper by 1st of February. So I need us to have 2 weeks of the NDP and then 2 weeks of the BFP. Colleagues, I think this would be fair. Okay? Yeah, Honorable Mpuga, who had raised the issue, then Honorable Katesh.
Thank you, sir, for your indulgence. This from the word go was my concern, right, Honorable Speaker, because eventually what is going to come out of the BFP will be the MTEF. And whichever projects and programs not seen with those will never appear anywhere, probably until some special, being orders so. And what, Honorable Speaker, when you allowed the Minister of Finance to lay the BFP and also read some statement not uploaded, I thought Parliament was being really shortchanged, because we did not debate his statement. He's making reference to inflation at 2.9% without referring to the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Doesn't know what's happening to our people out there. So he has some paper inflation in his book. And we have not debated that. But, Mr. Speaker, I think these 2 finance ministers are smart and they know what they're doing. Parliament can only be smarter than them to tell them that these documents can as well be put in the pigeonholes of members, but they are not received here as official documents until the proper procedure is followed and we do justice to the business you are laying, honorable ministers. We have never failed to handle your... Remember the other time, Mr. Speaker, NDP 3 was actually brought after the BFP and nobody saw it. Which is why we talk about paper tigers. They have paper tigers, those documents that have never been really implemented. Probably today we can roll back that, right, on the speaker. And I'm happy you are telling them their faces that they never informed Parliament as to what they are trying to do. Informing Parliament does not mean putting up a poster at Parliament. It does not even imply putting messages in members, WhatsApp groups. So, Madam Speaker, probably this is your day to ask the ministers to retreat. The House is here. We shall handle their business and do justice to this very delicate process. NDP 3 was mishandled. NDP 4 is coming. Like the Honorable Jonathan has observed, the budget over 5 years is a national mirror. If you are seeing your entire over your head, I want to see my nose alone in that mirror. I want to see my ear in that mirror. So what will happen over 5 years when other citizens are alienated and they believe a budget is the preserve of some very smart people that can understand the BFP and attendant MTFs? Thank you.
Yeah, honorable colleagues, with Honorable Katesh. Honorable Katesh.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I think as members of Parliament, we must be seen and we have a responsibility to add value to the processes that we are talking about, the process of planning, budgeting. The Minister has indicated that he did consultations, in whatever form it was. I think it would be good for us to know from the Minister whether the views and the ideas that the members gave you during the consultations have been incorporated in the table in the document you are tabling. Number two, Right Honorable Speaker, we are talking of NDP 4. We have not had a statement about the performance of NDP 3. We know that NDP 3, NDP 2, all of them did not achieve the performance that was set, the target that was set. So it would be very good for us to know, how are we sure that we are actually going to do better with NDP 4 than NDP 3? We need a statement from the Minister so that as we go out there to talk to our people about this new plan that we have, it is realistic and the people know that we are actually serious about its implementation. I beg to submit.
Now, honorable colleagues, I don't want this to be a much longer. Please. This is the laying of papers. Okay? Please. We have been on this since morning. I can tell you, listen to me, the Minister wanted this NDP to be approved today. I can tell you. And we refused. Okay? That's why, that's why we have said 2 weeks. And why am I saying that? There are statutory deadlines on the BFP. So whether we express our anger here, we rotate, we do what, we have timelines to meet. Okay? Now, honorable colleagues, my guidance and ruling is very clear that it goes to 2 weeks for NDP 4. We scrutinize it deeply, and then we come back, we go to the budget framework paper, which we shall be able to know, but now, because now we will have either approved or not approved the NDP, okay? And then any anomaly we find in the budget framework paper, we make recommendations, which they go back when they are making the MTF, they sort out. It's very, very simple, because the budget framework paper is not a final document to say you have now approved this, this is what they are going to implement. We give our views, they capture our proposals, and they go and they make a budget. So it shouldn't be really a very, very difficult issue on this. The committee, because this should be a policy issue, so we would have sent it to finance. But in finance, chairpersons of sector committees don't sit there, and we don't have time to come and include all these views that would want to capture the way honorable colleagues were raising. So let it go to budget. It can work with finance, with the Committee on Finance. Let it work with the Committee on Finance, and we ensure that we capture all these issues. Honorable Namuga.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I do appreciate that we have deadlines, but we are handling a very serious matter. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance has on several occasions taken this parliament for granted. We are talking about the National Development Plan. Honorable Katesh was asking about the performance of NDP3. It was at 17%. 17%. When the NRM manifesto's performance was at 57%. So we wanted to question, where did you get those projects that were handled in your manifesto when the NDP3 was at 17%? Right Honorable Speaker, when we are talking about some of these documents, we are tired. We are tired of seeing the Ministry of Finance just bringing statements here for the sake of submitting documents. On several occasions, we've asked serious questions about, number one, the performance. These documents feed into the budget. You bring them late because you want to beat deadlines, and normally when we look at the performance of the budget, it is very low. Right Honorable Speaker, the reason as to why MPs are suffering, it is because of some of these processes that are taken for granted. From today onwards, Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance should stop with immediate effect from taking Parliament for granted. We have suffered out there because of the recklessness of the Ministry of Finance. Recklessness of the Ministry of Finance, I state. You should stop taking us for granted, the Honorable Prime Minister, and I'm stating it as a former Minister Shadow, and the public, yes, Chairperson, yes, Honorable Speaker, they should stop taking this country for granted. Right Honorable Speaker, from the side of accountability, we've brought up these issues. The performance of the budget is very poor because we don't spend time on planning. That is why we are suffering. So they should stop taking us for granted.
Honorable Namuga, what should we do to these two documents? You see, I want solutions. What do we do to these two documents? We send them to the committees for processing. Yes, that's it. Honorable Mwijuche, it's almost the same.
Mr. Speaker, before I can say what we should do, last year we were talking about the corrigenda came late. And they were saying, you see, we have no time and we have deadlines. So we wanted to let you know this should be the last time you come to this parliament and then tell us, you see, we have no time and we have deadlines. If you can't plan, just get out of those ministries. Two, like my colleague has suggested, we are all interested. We are all interested, we want to look at those documents. All sector committees should be given an opportunity to look at the documents. Otherwise we will have a processing, we will have a problem processing what we will not have read. The chairpersons of committees will respect them, but they don't reason for us in those committees, in the budget committee. So we are all interested.
But because it will come here for approval. You will debate here.
And then you'll be telling us we have no time.
No,
telling us 1 minute.
Please.
We want to be part of the processes.
You know, honorable colleagues, you know, what interests me is very simple. I'll give you time to debate here. You will start talking of bridges in your constituencies only. This is a national development plan. In our debate, we must have a national outlook. Not just a local outlook. Okay? So please, when you say I give you 1 minute, it depends on how you present. When you bring LC1 issues, I'll give you 1 minute because they should be handled in 1 minute. Next item.